Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tina Takes on Scratch Cooking, and today we're doing one of my favorites, lasagna. Let's get to it. Right now, I just have 1 pound of very lean ground beef cooking with 1 pound of spicy sausage. So I'll just show you. I got it going. We're going to drain that off. We're going to add 1 medium onion and 6 cloves of garlic. So I'm going to get chopping. Okay, I got 1 medium onion, 6 cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to get this chopped up. The onion can be rough, but I do mince the garlic. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our onion in. I always like to make that little well, get these sweated down, and then we will add our 6 cloves of garlic. And guys, I should add that I did drain the grease out of the meat before I added my onions in. Okay, to our sausage and meat mixture here, we got onions, garlic, sausage, 1 pound of sausage, 1 pound of lean ground beef. I'm adding 1 28-ounce can of San Marzano tomatoes, crushed up with your hands, and 1 28-ounce can of San Marzano tomato sauce. So we'll get that going down in there, and then we're going to add our spices. That's the fun part always for me. Okay, let's get this mixed up. Okay, to this I am adding 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Okay. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of oregano. And I like to buy good oregano. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of thyme. Okay. And I'm adding a teaspoon of fennel seeds. And I make that kind of a heaping one because I really like the fennel. And then a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of the crushed pepper. That just adds a little additional flavor to it. At this time, we can add our salt and pepper. I go easy on the salt, you know. So not too much salt, maybe half a teaspoon. And then some black pepper to top this off with. Okay, we're going to mix this up. We're going to let this cook for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. This is really, really thick already, so I'm going to just add a little bit of water. I'm adding here about half a cup of water. We'll let that cook down a little bit. It takes a little while, guys, but this is so well worth it. Okay, and at this point, you can add a little bit of sugar if you like, which I am going to. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of sugar as well. Here's my little, it's about 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar. And that's it. Now, patience is a virtue, guys, because we just got to sit this one out and let this cook down for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. This is going to be a very thick and robust sauce, and it is delicious. It tastes delicious, and it's just a great sauce for a really thick, heavy-duty lasagna that we're making today, okay? While this is cooking down, I'm going to start making our lasagna noodles because you know I'm making them from scratch. See you in a minute. Okay, guys, I almost forgot. We want to add 2 bay leaves in, as well as just a little tip of some fresh basil. We're going to add more fresh basil later after it has completed cooking, because the basil can turn kind of sour on you. So I do like just to put a little top of a plant in, and about a tablespoon of some tomato paste as well. So we'll get this going now. And in the meantime, I know I just said I was going to make some lasagna noodles, but I'm going to actually start our filling for this lasagna. So I will get right on to that. All right, you guys, it's time to make the stuffing for our lasagna. I'm going to start out with 2 15-ounce containers of ricotta cheese. If you can get better ricotta, I would say to get it. I can't get it down here in North Carolina. You know, the kind that you get from the deli in a lot of stores up in Chicago. That's the great stuff. But this is all I can get down here. So I'm starting off with two 15-ounce containers. And to this, we're going to add an egg per each container. So 2 eggs. We're going to mix that up real well. Let me wash my hands. Let's get this mixed up really, really good. Yeah, this container ricotta is just, it's thin. It's just not the same as what I'm used to growing up with, but it's all I can get my hands on. So you got to make do with what you have, right? So we've got this nicely mixed. Now to this, I am going to add a clove of garlic. Yes, trust me on this one. Unless you don't like garlic, trust me on that. This is about maybe 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped parsley. Now to this, you can add parsley, you can add basil, you can add both. And in this case, we're going to go with the parsley today. Now I'm going to chop up. This is an 8-ounce package. So half of an 8-ounce package of fresh mozzarella. We're just going to make these into little squares. And they'll melt down in there real nicely. And it's kind of nice because this one's already, they're cut, so they're just easy to pull apart. So get that down in there. Okay, so far we've got the 2 15 ounces of the ricotta. We've got 1 clove of garlic. We've got about 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. To that, I'm adding 4 ounces of provolone, and I just diced this up very small. And we add that in there. This is awesome, you guys. And I use this to fill my raviolis with also. And I think I'm going to have to break and put some basil in here because I do love basil so much. And then I'm going to grate up about a half a cup of, this is 2-year aged Parmesan. I'm going to probably grate up about a cup of it because I want to add about a half a cup of it to the sauce itself. The last recipe, I had that great rind from Italy that I put in there off the 4-year aged. I don't have that this time, so I'm going to grate up about a cup of this, put a half a cup in my stuffing here, and a half a cup into our simmering sauce. And the sauce is simmering on a very low simmer. Okay, so here's about a cup of grated Parmesan. I'm going to put half of this in here. And I'm going to put the rest of this into our sauce that's already cooking. Oh my gosh, you guys, this sauce is smelling fantastic. So let me get in here and start mixing our filling. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Not a lot of salt because the Parmesan does have a lot of salt in its own right. So I'm going to put some pepper and just a little bit of salt in here. Let's see how this is coming out. Okay, it's nice and creamy. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and add the other 4 ounces of the mozzarella just to thicken it up a little bit. And we're going to put this in the fridge and let it sit, you know, until we're ready to use it. But I want it a little bit thicker than this. So I'm going to go ahead and add the other 4 ounces of the fresh mozzarella. Okay, I'm just getting this mozzarella back in here. It's going to be so cheesy and so delicious. And don't worry, you guys, I'm going to leave the entire recipe in the description box. You know, I make this stuff up myself, so please leave a comment if you make it. I'm really interested in to hear what you guys think about these recipes. Okay. Must like cheese, and I don't think you can have too much cheese. So, I did decide I'm going to throw some basil in there, so I'm going to run outside, pick some, and go ahead, mince that up real well, and throw that in too. I almost forgot the pepper. So I do like to add quite a bit of pepper, probably a good half teaspoon or more. And just a little bit of salt, like I mentioned, because the cheese has the salt in it already. So a good amount of pepper and just a little sprinkle of salt will do. And then I'm going to pop this in the fridge. Okay. So for our lasagna noodles, that's 300 grams of double O flour and about, like I said, 6 grams of salt. To that, you know, the rule of thumb is 1 egg per 100 grams of flour. So I'm going to add 3 eggs to this. Get this mixed up real well. And then we need to let it sit. It's got to rest for about 30 minutes. You wash my hands for the eggs. Okay. So we'll just pulse this. I know that it's going to need, I think I might just do it right now. I know it's going to need a tablespoon of water. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. The trick is that, you know, all eggs are different sizes. So I'm going to just start with a half of a tablespoon. I know it's going to, I'll do the whole thing because I know it's going to need more. But eggs are different sizes, and sometimes you don't need that water at all. But the last few times I've done this, I've needed the water. So we just want to get this incorporated really, really, really well. In smaller batches, the dough will just form a ball right in here. With, like, if it was only 100 grams, it would just form a ball. But since this is 300 grams, it gets there and it wants to. You'll see here in a second. But not quite. It turns into what looks kind of like grain, but it's actually dough. And I'm just going to let that run for a few seconds here. It's got to get really, really well incorporated. And there it goes. There it goes. Starting to want to make a ball now. See that? Okay, this is looking really good. Like I said, it's just too much flour for the machine. Otherwise, that would be in a ball right now. Okay, that's it. So, like I said, it kind of looks like grain. It looks like grain, but it's not. It's actually dough. It's a really nice dough. And I just kind of do it by feel. So you don't want it dry. So if it feels dry, you're going to want to add just a little bit more water to it. This feels pretty good. Okay, you guys, our dough has sat for 30 minutes. So it is ready to get run through our pasta maker. I can't wait to show you this. So here's our dough. I'm just going to cut it in 4 pieces. That's why I make it into a square in the beginning. It's just easier because it's more of the shape that it needs to be to run through the pasta machine, right? So here we go. And these noodles are so delicious. They're so simple and they're so delicious. I know it's a little bit of work, but man, are they worth it. So here we go. Okay, so with your KitchenAid, I like to lock it down, and we're just going to put this through. I like to turn it up a little. It just goes a little faster. On mine, it's from 8 to 1. So you start this dough out on number 8, which is the fattest setting, okay? This is why I like it. I like to make it square because that's the shape that you're going to need it in, right? Just makes sense to me. So let's run it through. Voila. I run it through a couple of times because the machine is doing the kneading for you. It's doing the work. So you keep turning it down a setting, and it just gets thinner and wider every time. So we started on 8, now we're on 6. I can turn this up and it'll go faster. It's just louder. Five. I run it through a couple of times on each setting. 4. 3. Now on 3, we run through on 3. You're getting that long, nice lasagna noodle. And it's just getting thinner and thinner. And I like my noodles super thin. This is number 2. Like I said, I run it through twice on each setting. And I think the higher speed is really good. This is number 1, our final setting. Look at that. Look at that beautiful noodle. And the machine does all the work for you. Okay, I'm going to take this noodle. It's about, I don't know, 18 inches to 18 inches. I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it out on a cookie cooling rack. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on it. They do need to sit about 30 minutes to dry out a little bit before we can build our lasagna. All right, you guys, I put all of the dough through the dough machine, and all I did was just put just a little bit of flour on it, just like this. And I just kind of wiped it off a little bit. That's all. Now we're just going to let these dry for like 30 minutes. And then we can build our lasagna finally. I can't wait. All right, guys, we are ready for the grand finale. Yeah, let's build this lasagna. So I just wanted to show you after the filling has been in the fridge for a while. I haven't stirred it up or anything. It's a little there's a little water on top, but it's fine. It's fine. So let's stir that up. Oh yeah, it's fine without even draining it. So, oh, it smells divine too. Okay, this is how we're gonna start this. Let's spray our pans. Okay. And let's spray the bottom side of tin foil because we're going to cover that. I'm sorry you can't see that. Tin foil is at the end. I just sprayed the bottom side of the tin foil, like the dull side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our meat sauce here. And you do want this on a cookie sheet because it is going to overflow, more than likely. Let's just put a little bit down here. That's going to help cook the noodles. Okay. You don't need too much. See how nice and thick this is? It's wonderful. You don't need a lot down here. Okay. A little more in that corner. Now, I made the lasagna noodles. They've been sitting out for 30 minutes. You know, I lightly dusted them with flour, brushed the flour off. They're pliable, they're wonderful. Let's put that down. I'm gonna put the skinny one down here next to it. I think I'll even put the fat end down because the noodles are so good. So I got my scissors here and I think I'm just gonna cut that off and I can make fettuccine out of that. So I'm gonna put a little more sauce down. This is just our first layer. So let's get a little bit thicker sauce down here. kind of a nice layer. Get that going here. Get that all spread out. And you know, in the oven, this spreads out. So, but I want to get this covered well. Get it in all the corners and everything. Get a nice layer. That's probably, we have a lot of sauce, so that, you know, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch layer in here. Okay, now we're going for the great stuff. Woo woo, let's get this out there. Yes, yes, this is wonderful. I'm telling you, this is the best lasagna ever. I just make up these recipes over the years by trial and error, nothing else. And once I get it right, I stick with it, you know. So let's get this all nicely evened out here. There we go. Get it in every corner and nook and cranny. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. So on top of that, I grated about 1/2 cup of parmesan, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little more because in my opinion, you can never have enough cheese. This is a 4-cheese lasagna. You can never have enough. Not too much, just a little. And I'm going to throw down, I'm being kind of stingy with this provolone because I want to top it with the provolone. And I thought I had another packet of it and I don't. So I got to be a little stingy with that. And I'm barely going to sprinkle some mozzarella on because I'm going to top it with that mozzarella and provolone. Okay? And so let's do it again. Grab a nice big fat noodle. Put that in there. Push it down. I'm going to cut that off. Cut this side off. Probably can cut that one a little more, but that's fine. Okay. One more nice fat noodle. The noodles just turned out perfect as they always do. I've only made them 3 times so far, but wow, I'm so impressed with them. You always want the sauce against the noodles because it's the sauce that's going to cook the noodle, okay? And these noodles, I made them so thin, they're going to cook perfectly. Whoop. Let's get that in there nice and thick. This is a mammoth lasagna, just so you know. It will feed a family of 6 for sure. Maybe even 8. Okay. Let's get our filling in there one more time. We're going to only have 2 layers of this, the filling cheese, it looks like. So I'm going to use it all. Only because there's no more room in the pan. So let's get this spread out. And it spreads out while it's in the oven too. So it doesn't have to be perfect. But, you know, do the best you can. Get this spread out. And I want to get all of it in there because it is delicious. All right, this is about all I got. Where does it need it most? Get that off there. Let's get this spread. Oh my God, doesn't it look delicious, you guys? This is phenomenal. It is so good. It's so good. Okay, so that's about the best we can do. Get that in there. We're going to put a little bit of that parm on there. Like I said, just light. Doesn't need much because it's in the filling already. And a little bit of the mozzarella because I want to save that for the top. And let's see, I got 5 pieces left. I'm going to need those for the top. So I'm going to go ahead. Oops. I got to put my noodles back down. Grab a noodle. Excuse me. Let's cut that off there. Okay, grab a noodle. Another noodle. So that leaves me with 2 additional noodles. And then what I do is I just run those 2 through the machine one more time. And then I have a little packet of fettuccine for when I want it. Let's see. And I gotta tell you, I know it's a little bit of work and I am tired, you guys. But making your own noodles, it is phenomenal. It makes such a difference in the lasagna. Okay, we're gonna finish this off with that sauce. Get that all spread out. Try to make it as even as possible. But like I said, there's that bay leaf. I've been looking forever for this second bay leaf and I couldn't find it. So I'm glad that it didn't end up in my lasagna. Get rid of that. All right, let's get this spread out. So you want to end up with the meat on top, and you're going to cover this meat with the cheese. So that's why we did sauce, noodle, sauce, filling, noodle, cheese, sauce, okay? This is so perfect. So let's go ahead and get this cheese on here. Here's our little tiny bit of parm. A little bit left over here. Got our parm. Then I'm going to put this provolone down. I'm 1 piece shy. What are you going to do? Okay. And then we're going to put this mozzarella on top. I know, it's a lot of cheese. You must love cheese and garlic, guys, to watch my channel. Get this all down in there. Ooh, this is so good. This is going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay. Like I said, you really want a cookie sheet because it's more than likely going to overflow. Now, what I do is I just tap this off with just a little oregano, just to kind of make it look pretty. And then after it comes out of the oven, we can top it off with a little bit of parsley. So I do try to clean up the pan a little bit here, just so it's easier to clean later. Get all that off the bottom if you can. It's no big deal. All right. And just a little sprinkle of oregano, that's all. Perfect. This is going straight into the oven, you guys. I'm going to cover it with the, I sprayed the inside of the Reynolds wrap, the aluminum foil. We're going to cover this. I'm going to keep it up kind of high, okay? So I don't want that cheese sticking to the pan. If you can get it to not stick to the pan, it's great. So you want it tight on there, but still kind of loose, if that makes any sense. I make it tight on the ends, but I leave it a little loose on the sides so that that steam can come out, okay? And then it's loose on top, so the cheese doesn't stick. All right, I'm gonna pop this right into the oven at 350 degrees, and it's gonna take about an hour. At about 45 minutes, I'm gonna take off the tin foil and let the cheese just brown up perfectly. I'll show you when it's done. Okay, you guys, it's been in the oven for 45 minutes. It's getting really, really close, and I'm getting excited because I'm starving. So let's take off the tin foil and see what it looks like. Oh, perfect. All right, can you see it? It's got 15 minutes more to go in there. Just to brown off the top of the cheese, and it is ready. So I will show you a picture as soon as I take it out for good. Okay, you guys, here comes the masterpiece. I did have to turn the broiler on just for about 3 or 4 minutes. Wow, it is so heavy. I had to turn the broiler on just to brown up this cheese on top. Look at that. This is gorgeous, gorgeous. And you know what? There's no drips in the pan whatsoever. I like it a little browned on top, so that's why I put the broiler on for 3 minutes. I like that crunch. So now we have to let it sit for a good 20 minutes. But there's something I wanted to show you. I can't obviously touch it, it's too hot. But there is no oil in the corners. There's no water, there's no oil. And that's what you're looking for. And that's why we, drain that oil off the meat when we start in the beginning. So I will give you a shot of this once I'm able to cut it open, like in 20 minutes. I can't wait. Thank you all for watching my videos. I so appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe as always. Just lots of love, lots of love. I hope you make my recipes because you're going to wow people. And that's what this is all about. This is 25 years of me experimenting until I got it right, And that's what cooking's all about. Just experiment. If I put too much of some ingredient in, don't put so much in, Do it to your own taste. There's no right or wrong in cooking. So I am going to let you go. Like, share, and subscribe. The recipe will be down in the description box for sure. And I'm going to give you a picture back when I cut it open in about 20 minutes. And I can't wait because I am really hungry. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, here it is. I'm starving. I made it a little brown on top because that's how we like it. So I did put it in the broiler for like 3 to 4 minutes. And I am cutting this baby. Oh my God. I'll cut it this way. Oh God, this is going to be so good. And I'm so hungry. I'm just going to do a whole half a piece because I'm that hungry. Everybody in the neighborhood's coming over saying, what are you cooking today? Because they could smell it out there. Because it's really nice outside today. So I had the screen door open. Let's pull this out. All right, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. And here is our lasagna. You see, again, there's no leakage, there's no water, there's no grease running. this is a perfect lasagna. This is the way it's supposed to look. This is 4 cheese. We got our spicy hot sausage in there. We got our ground beef. We got our basil in there. We got all of our great spices in here. I can't tell you how good this smells. Oh my gosh. Mwah. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, subscribe and share. I'm so hungry. And I will see you for the next video. Thank you all.